Live. So very excited to kind of kick off the new year. Are we allowed to still talk about the new year in like the middle of January? Who knows?
I think it's close enough. I've still been firing off a bunch of Happy New Year's.
Okay, perfect. Ready to start off the new year building smart contracts fast and easy. I think this is really good, kind of like zero to hero place that Cookbook takes. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm Emily. I do DevRel at Linea, but we have a lovely guest here today. Can you please introduce yourself?
Totally. I'm Michael. Good to meet everybody. Title is the head of business development at Cookbook. I do a lot of kind of DevRel related things too, workshops like this, documentation, all the fun DevRel related stuff.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's get right into it. I mean, like, what even is Cookbook?
So Cookbook is a smart contract registry paired with some developer tooling that we make in-house. It's the easiest way to go search for smart contracts, do research on networks and protocols, the easiest way to fork smart contracts and put them on new networks. So excited to share how to do that with Linea today.
Awesome. I guess like this is kind of all over the place now. I think it's probably easiest, I think, to understand Cookbook if we could just dive into a little bit of like what it looks like so the audience gets an idea of exactly what we're working with. Um,
Totally. If it's cool, I'll go ahead and share my screen now and just walk everybody through what we're up
yeah.
to. Okay, so we'll start off at the good old Cookbook landing page at Cookbook.dev. And we'll get right into Linea. So we have it here on the home page under.
Oh, nice.
And in a nutshell, this is a developer resource compilation landing page. Developers can show up here and find all the resources that they need to start building on Linea in one place. And it's a great way to find different networks, compare them, and find really the network you want to launch your project on. So everything from official links to block explorers to faucets to RPCs, wallets, oracles, you name it. It's here on our handy dandy Linea page. We do outlink to plenty of
Oh, amazing.
guides, tutorials created by the Linea team. We're working on some more of our own to augment these to make it even easier for developers to build on Linea. And where things get interesting for Cookbook, I think, is jumping into our protocols. So we can go use, let's use Pancake Swap as an example since it's right here. Developers can get information, but really learn and then start building with protocols here in Cookbook. So you can ask questions in plain text to Cookbook's AI Solidity Copilot, or you can do things like highlight code snippets, analyze them, and then get in-depth answers from our Copilot. So as developers are learning about different protocols, researching contracts that they want to build with, this is a very useful tool where you can ask questions and get feedback in real time. So our chef is giving us an answer here.
This is super cool. So I guess like I just what do you call it? I was thinking like, oh, it's not it's so much more than just like a deployment platform or like a development platform. Um, right. Cookbook is definitely a educational resource as well.
Totally. And when you're done learning on Cookbook, that's when you can get into the fun of actually building with the contracts and getting your hands dirty. So for simplicity, I'll start with our simple ERC20 token to keep things very, very simple. This is the goal. Like my goal for this workshop is showing you guys like the fastest and easiest way to get things up on Linea. So we
Mhm.
won't go too in depth with like Hard Hat or Foundry for this one. But what I will show off is our no code deploy and our open and remix, because I think these are really two of the fastest ways to get anything up on Linea. So
Yeah.
we can simply go ahead, click no code deploy. I'll throw in some test stuff here. Let's do 1,000 and change this to token. We have got Linea's testnet. Connected to Linea Gorley testnet here.
Okay, you're already connected.
Yep, so I already grabbed some gas. If you guys do need gas, we can go right back to the Linea page here on Cookbook. Go into the faucets and just grab your gas right there. If you need it, so I'm using MetaMask right now. Linea is configured out of the box for MetaMask, but if you are using a different wallet, you can click one button here, get that added to your wallet, and start building right away. So I'll just go ahead and confirm that transaction there. Switch. And our deploy is initiated. So really, in just a couple of clicks, we're getting an ERC20 token deployed to Linea, and we'll get a little handy-dandy dashboard in Cookbook to manage that once that goes live for us. So as live demos go, we'll give it here with my
Yeah.
section.
No worries. Yeah, okay, so I just wanted to kind of talk about what I'm seeing here. So it's very cool. You guys are connected to Atlas as well.
We do
So
partner with Atlas. You can open up any of our contracts in Atlas in one click over here.
I see. Okay. And then anything I create, if I wanted to port it out or like set it up in a Foundry or hard hat project, like I think there's a lot of really cool kind of like IDE, like similar like this deploy through the interface. But I guess like I always started straight from the CLI, right? So the translation of like creating a more complex project where I want to hook it up into a front end and have that whole end to end flow. What does that look like in Cookbook?
So we don't really support much on the front end side. We're really
Hmm.
focusing on perfecting our smart contract product first.
Yeah.
But for our Foundry and Hard Hat fans, we do have boilerplates for all of our smart contracts that we support on Cookbook for both Foundry and Hard Hat. So you can download a zip file essentially. Let's go into VS Code. I won't go through the complete walkthrough on this one, just to
Yeah.
keep things focused on the simple side of using Cookbook. But essentially, you can fill out your .env. We have boilerplate tests here in Cookbook where you can just uncomment out code, deploy scripts, everything you really need to start
Hmm.
building with Foundry or Hard Hat. In the case of Hard Hat, you download the boilerplate, you open it in VS Code, you'll run a couple quick commands. You run like an npx install, a compile, and then you're ready to change for. In the case of a simple ERC20 token, just your constructor arguments around the token, and then you can run a deploy script, and you've got your contract on chain. But before I get ahead of myself, there, we'll keep it very simple, and I'll show you guys how to do this in Remix. With one click, you can open up our contract in the Remix IDE. I'll point out that Cookbook is one of the featured plugins on Remix, so I'll
Oh,
go to the
awesome.
plugin as well, because it's one of the easiest ways to get any contract up on Linea. So we've got our simple token. We can go ahead and compile it.
Hmm.
Um, our network is now set to Linea here. We can go ahead and do some more tests, and 1,000 there. Oh, I gotta go from mainnet to testnet here. Bear with me. Where's the quarterly? Okay, and just like that, we deployed. Our contract to Linea's testnet. So
Mm.
you can do this with any contract that's either on Cookbook already. If there's something that you want to work with that isn't on Cookbook, as long as the contract is verified on a block explorer, you can grab the contract address, paste it into Cookbook, and then access all of those features that I showed you guys. So I'll actually do a quick demo of that too. I'll work with Friendtech because that has been kind of popular recently. So if you want to go, make your own version of Friendtech and then throw that on Linea.
I see. So Cookbook's really good for like, I guess, what do you call it? People who don't want to start from scratch, right?
Absolutely. Like the way, I look at Ethereum development is that there's so many battle tested contracts out there that can probably serve for the purpose that you want for
Hmm.
whatever program you're making. So they're great resources to learn from, build on top of, so that you really aren't starting from zero. So in the case of like forking anything on a Linea, I don't think there's any easier way to do it than using Cookbook. So we just
Right.
grab the front texture as contract address. We'll click import, and in just a second, we'll get all of the features that Cookbook has for everything that we index for front tech. So we can go ahead and learn about it in the same way that we did for our simple ERC20 token, get our boilerplates in Foundry and Hardhat, or go ahead and open in Remix or any of our other IDEs, and then go ahead and really in just a few clicks here, we can fork Frentex smart contracts onto Linea without really having to jump into a block explorer and copy and paste everything, or find a repo on GitHub, and then create our own environment. Cookbook kind of abstracts all this away and makes it very quick and easy to start building. So I will go into our Remix plugin a little bit. It's a great way to
Yeah,
find
yeah, yeah.
credits. Um, if you go into the plugin manager, you can search Cookbook.dev. We'll get the plugin activated. From there, you can go and essentially open up any of our smart contracts in Remix in one click. So we have Frontech that we imported from Cookbook, but if we want to work with, let's say, the Aave Flash Loan attacker, we simply click that. We have our contract open, ready to compile and deploy to Linea. Just like that. And our Copilot is available alongside the code in Remix, so you don't even have to
Oh, awesome.
IDE. You can
Amazing.
learn about these contracts
Yeah.
right after finding them.
Cool. Before we go forward, I do want to like make sure we answer some questions as they come in. So there's a question about other chain support. So is there non-EVM support on Cookbook?
So that's coming this quarter. Right now, everything out of the box at Cookbook is EVM focused, but we will be adding support for languages like Viper, Sway, from Fuel Network. We'll probably go into some Cairo, and kind of deeper into Cosmos, things like that. But right now, it's only EVM support.
Okay, awesome.
So
Someone's already really excited to get started immediately after this. Will there be any instructions on how to deploy a smart contract? It's probably a good opportunity to dive right into maybe like I know you kind of jumped around with regards to deploying a smart contract, but starting from like I enter the website into actually deploying might be like this is the time for people who want to watch the recording afterwards, have a clean run. Um,
Totally. So yeah, I'll walk through it like a little bit slower than I did the first time, and really point out everything on the deployment end. So I'll stick with our simple ERC20 token for this, just to make things super, super simple. Again, the point of this workshop from our perspective is just getting you guys the information you need to deploy something super quickly, super easily to Linea without really having to do very much. So if you aren't using MetaMask, we would recommend adding Linea's mainnet and testnet to your wallet through the Linea chain page at cookbook.dev/chains/Linea, and then getting your testnet ETH from the faucets here. I did try the Infura faucet a second ago. I think it was that there's so many people trying to build on Linea now that it was being a bit slow, but I've already got my testnet ETH. This is where you would go to get that. So now that we've got our like wallet configured, we have some testnet ETH in the wallet, we can go into deploying our contracts. So we'll be using OpenZeppelin's simple ERC20 token, again, just for simplicity. And I'll focus on our Remix integration on this because that's my personal favorite way to do things very quickly. So now that we've got our contract, we'll go click open in Remix. This imports all of our contract code into the Remix IDE. So we've got our simple token right here ready to work with in our IDE. We'll go over to our compiler. It's already set at the correct version, so we'll hit compile here. That works perfectly for us. So now we'll go into deploying. So for this, all we have to do is change our environment setting to injected provider MetaMask, because we have our testnet ETH here, our wallet configured already. We are ready to go. So in Remix, we just set our fields for our token name, our token symbol, and our token supply. So I'll stick with the good old tried and true test and an easy value of 1,000 for our token supply.
Cool.
So now that these are set, we hit transact. We'll pay our testnet gas fee. And then we'll go into Linea scan.
Yeah.
And check that out. So in order to get to Linea scan super easily, we can go back to our chains page on Cookbook for Linea, jump into our block explorer section. And here we are on our block explorer. So it looks like we had a little bit of an issue.
Oh, yeah. So this is going to be push 0 is a new opcode introduced in the latest version of Solidity, which I think is 8.20. So if you want to avoid the push 0 error, you would compile on 8.19. So
Let's see.
yes. Oh, someone was asking the resolution isn't great. Maybe if you could like zoom in a bit, perhaps.
Sure thing. Let me reshare my screen here after changing some screenshot settings that may make things clearer.
Yeah, this is really cool. I'm curious, where does Cookbook fit in like the verification process, right? So this is all deployment. Do you guys also handle smart contract verification?
So right now we do rely on our verification partners for that. If you're using our Foundry boilerplates, when you deploy, that'll be verified out of the box. But for Remix, you would have to either verify with the Remix plugin or go into a block explorer and verify kind of like the legacy way where you're uploading files to there and verifying that way.
I see. And then I think separately I had heard rumblings of, and you tell me if this is true or I'm speaking from like a dream, like Cookbook inserting itself as like documentation plugins or chatbots and things like that to like better, I guess, serve experiences outside of, the Cookbook.dev webpage as well, right?
Totally. This is like a new feature we're piloting with some of our partners. So soon our Chef GPT will be available in others' documentation, including our analyze code snippets. So if you're reading through the technical docs for Linea or a protocol that you're building with, you'll be able to highlight code snippets in there or highlight portions of that documentation to interact with our AI. So that will be coming out actually in the coming weeks. I'll keep everyone updated on the Cookbook Twitter, on my Twitter. So definitely look out for that. I know we're excited to be rolling that one out.
Yeah, very cool.
So let me jump back in and share my screen once more.
Okay, cool.
Compiled with the 819. Let's drop our test fields back in. So we are back in Remix, again connected to Linea Gorley as our environment, and we're going to pay our very tiny gas fee again. And this time around, we have a successful deployment. So we'll go into our MetaMask, and we've opened up our block explorer from MetaMask this time, and we can see that our contract here has been deployed. So as Emily mentioned, we will still have to verify our contract if we want to interact with it through the block explorer. This is sort of still done in the legacy way. We will have ways to do this kind of more seamlessly through Cookbook
Mm-hmm.
this quarter, and I'll also keep everyone updated on that.
Right. And then we did have a question about like off-chain data. I mean, I guess that's probably not so much Cookbook's realm of expertise since you're more on the smart contract deployment side. But maybe that's just like a general question, or you could point out, I guess, the oracles I saw on the Linea chain page as well.
Yeah, totally. So right now, out of the box, Cookbook does not support anything around off-chain data. We really focus on research for smart contracts, education around Solidity, learning about the contracts that you've discovered with Cookbook, and then really easy deployments so that builders can click a few buttons, get their hands dirty, and get the experience of putting something on chain without having to, invest too much time or effort getting their environment set up. As far as oracles go, I will share my screen once more here.
This is a back and forth. Yeah, I'm wondering like how up to date is this page? Because this is a lot of information, right? Including doing this across all the chains. Um, like if every time we add a new oracle or like bridges wise, right? There's more than just layer 0 and Linea Bridge. Is this kind of an effort from people like me to come in and change and add, or is that like on Cookbook? What's the
So it's kind of twofold. It's a constant work in progress because there's always new things coming out in our industry. So we do work with teams directly to get feedback on these pages and try to ensure that they're as up to date as they can be, and as useful for developers as possible. We do have a kind of a wide developer community that'll update us in Discord or request certain things to be added. And we're super responsive on that. You guys can jump into discord.gg/cookbook anytime. You can ask questions about Solidity. You can ask questions about what kind of smart contract you should use for like a certain goal you're trying to accomplish. Our engineering team will be more than happy to answer all of your questions, give you advice. And our community members will also be in there too, sharing what they've learned. So it's a great way to kind of jam and collab on building as well.
Yeah. I guess this isn't, I guess, a question for you. Someone was asking, like, how can I help Linea as a user who I guess isn't deploying smart contracts? Or in this case, is there a specific smart contract that they can just deploy in any chain? Um, I think the answer to that is I can't think of anything off the top of my head other than, hey, user, turn into a developer, or anyone can be a developer with Cookbook and start building and learning and thinking about use cases. Which actually I think brings me into the next section that I want to talk about, right? Is like you mentioned like community members in your chat, right? Like where is Cookbook out in the wild? Um, or like I guess common use cases that you've seen, because it seems like one of the strengths of Cookbook, right, is like you can pull in templates or like existing contracts that are verified and play around with them, right?
Yeah, totally. Hackathons are one of the big places that you'll see people really like cranking through things on Cookbook out in the wild, ETH global events, things like that. If you're uh, kind of limited on time and you need to get something on chain, there's probably no faster way than using Cookbook. It's great for hackathons too because our Chef GPT Copilot is there to answer all of your questions in case there's a big line at the desk of whoever's providing the bounty or the sponsor
Right.
or the mentor is. That's one area. New developers find, I think, Cookbook very useful, just for kind of wrapping their head around what's out there. So if you're looking to launch an NFT collection or something and you have no idea where to start on the smart contract end, you can go into contracts on Cookbook. You can look for keywords like NFT, and then right away you can find plenty of examples to kind of start. And many of these are tried and true. For example, we've got the Moonbirds NFT contract here. You can go deploy your own version of that with our no-code deploy, with our Open and Remix, or any of our other IDE partners, as well as and Foundry and hard hat support. And you can really do this for any kind of concept that you're looking for. So whether you're deploying an NFT, or you want to learn about DEXs, or you want to learn about DAO voting and governance on chain, all of these things are like very easy to find through Cookbook. So we type in DAO now, search for DAO, and just like that, we have multiple pages of DAO contracts that you can go into, fork, improve on, make small changes to serve your purposes.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, yeah, definitely. I think Cookbook is a really great entry point for hackathons. I agree. I think, especially, it's really interesting. I think seeing beginners at hackathon also using ChatGPT as their first entry point for like, oh, how do I do stuff? What do I like? Where do I start and stuff like that? And having that incorporated into your product is also good. Um, okay, so we have a question as well. This is taking us out of the cookbook realm, but um, I guess they maybe not so much the off-chain data part, but like, what are your thoughts on hackathons? Has Cookbook sponsored a hackathon, and you guys mostly just like there?
We've sponsored some in the past, and we probably will more this year. We are like always there, so we're kind of on the floor building and hacking ourselves,
Mm,
answering questions for developers, learning about how people are approaching hackathons, what resources they're using, what works for them, what doesn't. So you'll see us all over the place. Look out for the chef hat, and we'll usually have a shirt or a hoodie or something like that when we're on the hackathon floor.
that's cute. Will you be in East Denver, I guess, coming up?
Yeah, we will be. Quick plug, we'll be hosting an event February 28th. It'll be a developer tooling kind of focused event with a couple of developer tooling partners. I know the Remix team will be involved in that, Fuzzland, Build Bear. So definitely check that out. We'll be posting invite links and stuff like that on our Twitter probably in the next week or so. So just keep an eye out for that. And we'll be over on the floor during the build-a-thon the entire time, walking around and hacking ourselves and making sure that everybody can find the smart contracts that they need.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Um, I guess maybe we can land on wrapping things up, maybe. Oh, first off being we have this video walkthrough, which is amazing. My understanding is we also have Cookbook is in our documentation on linea.build. So if you guys want like an actual walkthrough of everything you did, you can go to the website, and then developers deploy smart contract, and Cookbook is there. So if you're not a visual learner, ta-da.
Yep, this is a great reference here. It covers everything from deploying with Remix to using Hard Hat to using Foundry. So this is kind of a complete quick start guide here for using Cookbook. So definitely check that out as a great resource.
Yes. Okay, cool. So I guess I'll leave this time for you to like I guess plug ETH Denver, obviously. What and you said those will be coming out on your Twitter handle. What are like other ways? Like what are the need to know links and handles to get all things cookbook and what's happening and learn more?
Totally. So definitely reference our Twitter as kind of a source for updates. We're constantly posting new features, workshops, guides, tutorials at cookbook_dev on Twitter. Jump into our Discord. It's cookbook or discord.gg/cookbook. You can connect with other developers, other Solidity builders, with our engineering team, and with some of the teams that we work with in the server. Ask questions about resources, ask questions about contracts. If you're looking for a specific contract, I'd be happy to point you to a suggested one that I think would help you out. So definitely the Discord is the best way to get in touch with us. We do have some articles up on Medium on using Cookbook with our different partners. I think we just got a mirror page too that'll be posted more about on our Twitter, so look out for that as well.
Awesome. Um and then one last piece, I guess for the devs coming up at East Denver. Um, any advice, seeding ideas? Or I guess if you're hacking too, you have to keep those all for yourself so you can win.
Well, I mean, these days it looks like, this year we have so many layer twos coming out. I think that if you're, chasing bounties or prizes, definitely go up and talk to the Linea team, talk to other sponsors, get an idea of what's exciting for them, what the bounties are around, and then jump into Cookbook, and then find a contract to start with. So if you're going to, focus on DAO governance for Linea or something like that, you can talk to the team there, jump into Cookbook, find a DAO contract to start with, learn about it, deploy it, and win some money.
Okay, awesome. Well, Linea will be there. We want to see you work with Cookbook and Linea together. We have some prizes. Um, but yeah, no, this is super cool. I love seeing how developer tooling has been changing over time and like getting more robust and user friendly. Um, yeah, so if you don't have anything else to say, I'll count down from 10 to give some, I guess, live stream lag time to pick up.
Yep, that's really what I wanted to cover today, using our no-code deploy, opening up a contract really quickly in Remix, or using the Remix plugin to get your contract code imported there so that you can just go ahead and compile your contract, deploy it to Linea, uh, and start building.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you so much for joining, Michael. I don't know if you want to plug your Twitter as well, if people want to get in touch with you at all.
Yeah, totally. If you guys want to get in touch with me, my Twitter is Mike_Dankanich. So that may be linked somewhere, probably on the Cookbook Twitter. My Telegram is Michael Cookbook, so that one's probably easier. You can direct message me anytime. My messages are open. I'll be happy to answer any questions about Solidity, Cookbook, building with smart contracts. So please feel free to reach out.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you so much. I'll start the countdown and then wave goodbye. Okay, ready?
So
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
thanks so
Okay. Bye.